Joe Jencks. Thank you for bringing us into the room on this beautiful daily antidote of Song Tuesday. Super glad to hear you and to have you here. Everybody, please give it up for Joe Jencks, coming in from Albany, New York. He is our song leader for the day today. Let's get some things said and we'll get right away to singing with Joe. Let's say hello, of course, to Joe, Albany, New York. Hello to everybody out there on the live stream. This folks on YouTube and the folks on Facebook. We're really glad you joined us today. I'm Joe Rossi. I'm the director of the Daily Antidote of Song. And in case you're new to us, the Daily Antidote of Song is a free program that runs every single day, no matter what, rain or shine. We have been here at 1,787 consecutive days of singing at this point. And we are so glad that you have chosen this day to join us. You can find us here any day. We hope you'll join us again tomorrow. I want to thank Ariana for running tech out of Los Angeles. Thank you so much, Ariana. We've got folks in the room today. Pauline in Newcastle, Arlene in California, Becky coming in from British Columbia, Karen in Oregon, Deborah in Kentucky, Jill, thanks for being with us today, Annette in California, Sheila in Florida, Cricket in Maryland, Susan in Cincinnati, Doug coming in from Vermont, Kathy in California, Bonnie in Idaho, Sue coming in from Seattle, Marion from Brighton, UK, Nan in Michigan, Mabel and a bear coming in from Massachusetts, Linda in California, Jonathan coming in from Rhode Island, Aloysius in Mass, Nancy in Washington State, Maxine and John coming in from Cape Cod, Kathleen coming in from Albuquerque. Nice to see you back in here again. Bronwyn, I think that's Pennsylvania. Elizabeth in California, Dally in Maryland, Sarah, I think that's Connecticut, Jenny in Suffolk, UK, Neil coming in from Boston, great to see you, Caroline in DC, Maggie in California, Laris coming in from the UK, Gretchen is coming in from, I think it's Washington, but I don't remember, Storm in Massachusetts, Carol in Connecticut, Pat, nice to have you with us today. Not sure if you're new to us. Ruth in Birmingham, UK, Fred in Maryland, Lynn and Cliff in Vermont, Jane in Texas, and I think we got another slew of folks coming in the room right now. We'll say some quick hellos to Lynn in Connecticut, Athena in Brooklyn, Mommy coming in from New Jersey, Karen, Kim, both in, one of our song leaders coming in from Vancouver, and the Curly Tops coming in from Vermont. Let's take a deep breath, everybody. So happy that you've all decided to be here with us today. So we are in February. It is Black History Month. It is time to be singing about love and justice. We are in a Love and Justice Week right now, and we are super excited to have Joe Jencks, who is one of the most zen and beautifully communicative humans that I know. He comes into this room and he just brings us to the right place every time. Joe, we are so looking forward to singing with you. Not to load up too much of an expectation, but get it all right. Yeah, do it for us. We're ready.
Well, I will tell you that I think we are. Next time I sing for you, I think I will have a new song ready for you. It's not quite ready yet, but the heart of it is around the notion that the work today is the same as yesterday, and the work tomorrow will be the same, and that is to love deeply through the chaos of the world around us. There are so many things that we cannot control, and yet we can control the level of integrity that we bring to our own relationships. We can control the energy that we put into community in a sustainable way rather than, reaching for martyrdom. And as always, music is one of those great practices, singing together, that brings us into our center. And I think the more time we spend there, the more able we are to see that slalom path between the pendulum swings of chaos in one direction or another. And we just keep gathering together and singing together and therefore breathing together. And when we breathe together, something magical happens. Bernice Johnson Reagan said that a song is not sung in community, it is lifted. And so let us sing together and lift a song. This is one of my own, but it was certainly inspired by a lot of the spirituals that I grew up hearing. I was kind of dual involved growing up in the Catholic congregation that I was raised in, and in the Black church in my hometown as a result of a lot of community singing that I did. And this is a song that was inspired by all of that. But I was walking through the mountains alongside some property that Cy Khan has, and this song downloaded from the universe into my consciousness. There's something about the mountains in North Carolina that they just kind of like lift music into the world like the magnolia blossoms that fall off the trees in the springtime, you know. So here it is. The chorus is, where are you, Moses? Where are you now? Come down from that mountain, Moses. Lead your children home. I'll break that down for you. Where are you, Moses? Try that. Where are you, Moses? Next line, where are you now? Where are you now? Try that. Where are you now? Come down. Come down from that mountain, Moses. Come down from that mountain, Moses. Lead your children home. Lead your children home. Your children all are hungry, no food for them to eat. Wandering through this desert, Lord, no shoes upon their feet. So tell me now, where are you, Moses? Where are you now? Come down from that mountain, Moses. Lead your children home. You said when we left Egypt, you and God had worked it out to lead us to a promised land. You said there was no doubt. So tell me now, where are you, Moses? Where are you now? Come down from that mountain, Moses. Lead your children home. The people carve their idols to worship and to keep. With greed and lust and hatred, Lord, they dig their graves so deep. So tell me now, where are you, Moses? Where are you now? Come down from that mountain, Moses. Lead your children home. Many tribes and nations still searching for the light. Each one has an answer, Lord. Each one thinks they're right. So tell me now, where are you, Moses? Where are you now? Come down from that mountain, Moses. Lead your children home. One more time. Where are you, Moses? Where are you now? Come down from that mountain, Moses. Lead your children home. I said, come down from that mountain, Moses. Lead your children home. I said, come down from that mountain, Moses, and lead your children home.
Thank you so much, Joe Jencks. That was really beautiful, exquisite. And even your entry into the song, I feel like started us exactly on the path of the things we need to be thinking of, the love and the breathing and our job in the world. And I'd love you to talk a little bit more about that song, about how you are feeling in the world, and anything else you feel like sharing with us right now. We're all ears.
Yeah, thank you. I wrote this during the spring, I think it was spring of 2016. And we were in that election cycle that was just, people were putting things up on Facebook. Like, I think this season of the United States has gone off the rails, like TV reviews and all kinds of, it was a little surreal. I mean, I think it was good training ground for, if we're paying attention, the present moment is always training ground for the future. And here we find ourselves in that future for which the past was our training ground. But like I said, I just was walking through the mountains in North Carolina and feeling like to get a little Star Wars on us for a minute. I was feeling the disturbance in the force, and I thought, how did the ancient Israelites feel? I mean, we have these sort of stories that come out of Hebrew scripture and Christian scripture that give us a sense of that. And yet we have this rich canon of music that taps into that. And we see that there are, if you tap into Jungian archetypes, psychological archetypes, and look at the way that Joseph Campbell carried some of those ideas forward in an analysis of global mythology and the common points that come out of human experience, regardless of culture or race or location. I started thinking about what it would have been like to be following some charismatic leader, into your second or third decade wandering through the wilderness and going, okay, are you sure you know where you're going? And I think sometimes my role in the world is ever to be the affable contrarian. Excuse me, a little frog in my throat. So I was writing this thinking, all right, how would I have felt if I had been there? And I'd have been like, yo, what up, brother? Like, we had a conversation going about how this path was going to go, and that's not how it's going. And, you disappear for, months or years at a time on your little spiritual quest, and we're trying to figure out how to eat. And I look at some of the great leaders of liberation of the 20th century in particular. I look at Mohandas Gandhi. I look at Nelson Mandela. I look at Martin Luther King. I look at Rosa Parks. I look at the Freedom Singers. I look at, so many people who were involved in interesting work in the world. And I see that there was a spiritual component to their practice. And I see the conflict sometimes between the agenda of the wider world and the people who were trying to lead a sustainable movement. And so I reach my ladle back into that well when I don't know what to do. Because I think somewhere in there is, for me as an artist, the lyric content, the melodies, the ideas that I need to be balm to my soul. There is a balm in Gilead to make the broken whole. I go back to old Paul Robeson records, and I listen to this immutable voice of truth move through the world. And then I just felt called to write a song that was about the moment for me emotionally. And when I got to the end, after various things about being lost and the people carve their idols, well, give them something better to do and maybe they won't. But, clearly that's what's happening, is that people are worshiping idols of consumerism in a way, and then we get to the end of that song and it's like, many tribes and nations searching for the light. Each one has an answer, Lord, and each one thinks they're right. And now we're kind of back to sign, sign, everywhere, sign. Or, the Crosby, Stills and Nash song, the old Buffalo Springfield song. I think we better stop, children. What's that sound? Everybody look what's going down. You look at these different iterations through this. So, I don't know. I think it's the role of an artist to see the interconnectedness of things and to draw parallels that maybe other people miss. But for me, there's a pretty direct path to, a lot of great music that we can lean into in the moment, both past and present, that will continue to inspire us to stay present with each other, because that is what we have. We have each other. And when we lean into that, I think we will find that we are less attached to the daily pendulum swing of the headlines and what's above the fold in the newspaper. And we will remember that the work continues. And the work is to just be good, loving people in the world. And I don't know about you, but music is the thing that most allows me to recenter and remember that that's my goal. My goal isn't partisan politics. My goal isn't to vilify anyone. My goal is to be the most loving presence I can in the world. And I'm not above calling out, somewhat prophetically truths that I witness in the world. But I think at the end of the day, my job as an artist is to help people see the connections. And so, to wit, I think that question asked, "What's next?" That song asked the question, "What's next?" We're in the woods, and this song sort of answers it. It's called "For the Singing," and I know I sang this at least once a few years ago during the pandemic on DAS, but I haven't sung it in quite a while. And it's just in the last few weeks come back into regular rotation for me as one of my personal meditations when I need to find my center again. I start singing this. I wrote this song 30 years ago when I was 23 years old. I was moving out of an apartment. It was the wee hours. I was supposed to be out by midnight, and I got a stay of execution from the landlord till noon the next day. But it was about, I don't know, probably 2 a.m, and I fell asleep at what was left of the kitchen table, sitting in a folding chair. And when I woke up, this song was on the paper in my handwriting and the melody in my head. I had written it out of the dreamscape while I was sort of in that. I mean, I have some memory of scribbling on a legal pad, but I woke up and it was there, and it's the only song from that era of my life and songwriting that I still sing. It was as if future self was sending a message back in time to that self saying, hey, it's going to be okay. Like, if you keep your heart aimed in the right direction, this is all going to work out. And I don't know if I'm yet at the age where, future me was sending that message back in time, but I guess a few times in my life I felt like, I had reached a place of equanimity in my own heart such that I could be a good big brother to that younger version of me that was stuck in that place 30 years ago. And this is what came out of all of that. But it's the only time in my life I've ever woken up from the dreamscape having actually physically penned a song while I was sleeping. As I was walking down the only road I knew, I came upon a place where that one road turned to two. Sorry, as many of you know, I'm still getting over a shoulder thing, and every once in a while my fingers just stop cooperating still, but we're getting there. Where was I? Second half of that first stanza there. I took the one that seemed less worn. I did the best I could, till I happened on a wise man all alone out in the woods. He looked at me a moment. He looked up at the sky. He turned as if about to speak, but all he did was sigh. So I ventured forth the question. I said, surely you must know, will the road that I now travel take me where I want to go? He said, do it for the power and you'll surely be a slave. Do it for the glory and you'll find an early grave. Do it for the laughter and you'll surely find your smile. Do it for the singing and you've gone the extra mile. And that chorus will come around several more times. You jump right in. He looked at me a moment. He looked up at the... Oh, sorry, I'm lost again. I still had some questions I thought might clear the air. I turned around to ask and found he was no longer there. I thought maybe this was God I saw as I got down on my knees. But soon enough I heard my answer in the wind blowing through the trees. And it said, do it for the power. It said, do it for the power, and you'll surely be a slave for the glory. Do it for the glory, and you'll find an early grave for the laughter. Do it for the laughter, and you'll surely find your smile for the singing. Do it for the singing, and you've gone the extra mile. Many moons have come and gone. Now and then I go astray, but I come back to the path, 'cause for me it's the only way. Well, I do not have much money, but I find I have more time to seek the answers that I need in the eyes of those I find. They say, do it for the power, and you'll surely be a slave. Do it for the glory, and you'll find an early grave. Do it for the laughter, and you'll surely find your smile. Do it for the singing, and you've gone the extra mile. They say, do it for the power, and you'll surely be a slave. Do it for the glory, and you'll find an early grave. Do it for the laughter, and you'll surely find your smile. Do it for the singing. What a beautiful thing. I'm going to just take 2 seconds here and go see the other 2 screens of people that are gathered with us today, because, of course, the Zoom will only show me so much at once. But so nice to see so many of you from so many different parts of North America and around the world. Yeah, what a joy to be with you and to be reminded as it was in the beginning, when the daily Antidote of songs started and we were all huddled up in our little bubbles and trying to figure out how we were going to get through it. And we remembered that by singing together, even remotely, we would find some nourishment and strength. And thanks so much to everybody who had a hand in pulling this together in those early days, and those that have kept it going now for, all right, where's the sign? Who's got the sign? How many days? That's what are we?
1,787.
I was going to go with 1680. I was off by 100 days. All right.
Oh, Joe Jencks, I can't think of any place I would have rather been for the last 30 minutes than listening to you sing and talk. You are so eloquent. I'm always so grateful for your self-hosting capacity, because sometimes you are speaking and I just feel like there's nothing I could add other than intrusion. And today was absolutely one of those days. I just kept wanting to hang on to your words and be able to be present inside of them. It was just from your use, I think, of the word disturbance. And you're so eloquent, and you say it all in the song, and then you say much more after the song. And it's just a journey of, I was thinking maybe you should be a spiritual leader. And then I thought, wait, you already are. So, thank you for all that you do. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, this is an absolute joy. Thank you. Many of you have sent some notes privately to me. I thank you for your support and your encouragement, both practical and, emotional. And I am getting the healing help that I need for the shoulder. It's a slow process, But 3 months ago this week, I went in for surgery and I'm back playing guitar. I don't have all my chops back, but I'm making really solid progress. And I just got to have the privilege of gathering with the broader folk community at the Folk Alliance International Conference in Montreal, and it was pretty fun to be in the presence of an immersion experience in a province that does not use English as their primary language. Pretty much almost everybody in Quebec speaks English to some degree, but the level of welcome that I felt was extraordinary. And this has been the way so many times through history when our own country, when the United States in particular, sorry, I know there are many people here from other countries, but when the United States becomes isolationist in some way, Canada in particular has reached their hand across the border and said, no, 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 it will be okay. We will get through this together. And this very lovely Quebecois man who was helping us wrangle the insanity of 6 elevators and 3,000 people trying to get where they were going, he said, we are like brothers, the United States and Canada, and we are like siblings was the word he used. But he said, sometimes we love each other, sometimes we hate each other, but the thing is we can't live without each other. And so we will get through this because we will remember that we love each other, and then things will get better. And that is what music does for me. It reminds me of the depth and breadth of love that I feel for other people and that I aspire to manifest through the music and through other practices in the world, through volunteerism. I know many of you are very engaged volunteers in your home communities, and thank you for that. I think by continuing to resist notions of other and by choosing to draw connections through the work we do in the world, through our relationships, we will remember that it is our goal to be a loving presence in the world. And we will remember that singing is a thing that brings us back into our center every time. So with that, maybe we'll do one more chorus of that. But are there any announcements, Joe, before we do that for the singing chorus a couple more times and call it a day?
I don't think I want to say a word today. You just keep going, please.
Yeah. Well, what a privilege to be here with all of you and have this singing meditation at noon every day, Eastern Time, U.S., hosted by Carpe Diem Arts, the daily antidote of song. If you want to make any sort of contribution, be it small or large, to help keep this going, there are some random odd thoughts we've had that may come to fruition, like taking Daily Antidote of Song to the Folk Alliance Conference, like, hopping on a bus like the Freedom Singers used to do, but getting a bunch of our hosts on a motor coach and doing a DAS tour on some level.
Yeah.
Like
Okay.
there's,
I will say something to that because so you were there this year and I was very much hoping to be there. I just want to shout out, you were there with Betty Sue, who sings with us, with Heather Pearson, who sings with us, Levon du Nord, who sing with us. And like, it already has so much daily antidote-ness in it, right? Like there's just a room full of people there who are all so active in what is happening right now in the world and doing it through music and doing it through beautiful words. And yeah, Joe, thank you for being there and in so many ways, being the force that you mentioned before, that we are all, I think, both looking for and need so much right now. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm turning it back to you.
yeah. Well, we need to keep singing because singing is a beautiful thing. Singing connects us to our own heart. And the more connected we are to our own heart, the more likely we are to be in a position to help other people do the same. And so singing, there's a reason why singing has been a through line in human culture. For as long as we have been walking upright, we have been making sounds and melodious sounds and doing it in community. And even before that, you look at our animal ancestors that would gather together in packs or herds and howl at the moon at night. And there's the sounding call of birds up on a tree branch that aren't really saying anything except cheer up, cheerily, cheeriloo, cheer up, cheerily, cheeriloo. But what they're really saying is, I'm here, I'm here, I'm here. I like this tree. I'm here. Is anybody else here? And then another bird chirps back, I'm here. And then another one chirps back, I'm here too. And a lot of the sounding calls that birds make are just a reminder that they are not alone. And sometimes that is the most powerful thing, is to remember that we are not alone. So let's sing through this one more time. Do it for the power and you'll surely be a slave. Do it for the glory and you'll find an early grave. Do it for the laughter and you'll surely find your smile. Do it for the singing and you've gone the extra mile. They say do it for the power and you'll surely be a slave. Do it for the glory and you'll find an early grave. Do it for the laughter and you'll surely find your smile. Do it for the singing and you've gone the extra mile. They say do it for the power and you'll surely be a slave. Do it for the glory and you'll find an early grave. Do it for the laughter and you'll surely find your smile. Do it for the singing. Thank you so much. I will also mention, I know we have a whole slew of people on here that are connected to Daily Antidote from the UK. I'm looking at coming to the UK for 2 weeks in October of this year and doing my first effort at hitting some of the folk clubs and connecting with the music community in the UK. So those of you who are joining us from the UK or who maybe have traveled there in a musical capacity, please feel free to reach out to me offline and give me suggestions of things that I should be looking into musically while I'm over there. I'm really looking forward to it.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Joe Jencks. I'm so grateful that we know we've got you coming back into this room at least twice. I think you're hosting once soon, and I think you're also singing with us on St. Patrick's Day. We can't wait to have you back then. For all of you folks over in the UK, I hope you can find Joe while he's on his journey there. And let's do a quick reminder of who we still have coming up for the rest of this week. So yesterday was an amazing day with Annie Patterson. If you missed it, please go back and find it on YouTube. Joe Jencks today. As far as I'm concerned, just go back all day and listen to it again on YouTube, like over and over again. Leah Gilmore joining us tomorrow from Baltimore. Kathy Fink and Marcy Markser joining us on, that must be Thursday, coming in from Maryland. Sora Harris-Vincent joining us on Friday from Minneapolis. Steph Payne, new to us. She's a friend of Morris Smiley's. She'll be joining us from her home in Australia. And so hope you can make it that day. She'll be, up at 1:30 in the morning to sing to us. So Fran Andre, amazing host and song leader in the Daily Antidote for eons now, will be joining us as a song leader on Sunday. So it's a beautiful week of justice and love. And I am so grateful to all of you for coming in here day after day and exactly helping to hold us up with your smiles and your energy and your presence and your thoughtful wisdom that you all put in the chat. So grateful for all of that. It's really what's holding us all together now in so many ways. Joe Jencks, I can't thank you enough again. Can we please all give it up again for Joe Jencks?
You all get the credit for keeping this going. I'm a guest in your house, and what a privilege it is to be here.
Anytime, my friend, anytime. Thank you again to everybody out there on YouTube and on Facebook who joined us today to be part of this incredible journey. And thanks, of course, to all the folks in the room. And thanks, of course, to Carpe Diem Arts for keeping this going. Let's say goodbye to everybody in here. Arlene in Berkeley, California, thanks for being with us. Deborah in Kentucky, thank you. Jill in Florida, glad to see you again today. Annette in California, Sheila also in Florida. Cricket in Maryland, Susan in Cincinnati, Pauline and William over there in Newcastle, UK. Special wave to 100-year-old William over there. William, we love you. And let's see, Neil is coming in from Boston, Bonnie in Boise, Idaho. Lara's coming in from the UK. Ariana, thanks for running tech for us today out of Los Angeles. Ruth in Birmingham, UK. Becky in British Columbia, Bob and Mabel, and a bunch of bears bouncing around over there in Massachusetts. Kathy in California, Kathleen in Albuquerque, Athena in Brooklyn, New York. Lori, thanks for being with us today. Sue in Seattle, Lynn and Cliff in Vermont. Kim Bothan, song leader in this space. You'll see her in March, coming in from Vancouver. Caroline coming in from DC. Marion in Brighton, UK. Aloysius in Massachusetts. Nancy in Washington State. Gary in Mass. Linda coming in from Mass. Fred in Maryland. Hoda in British Columbia. Doug in Vermont. Jonathan in Rhode Island. Dally in Maryland. Storm in Mass. Moon coming in with, oh, Moon, I have to move you over to the other screen so that everybody gets a chance to see you out there on live stream. That's Moon over there with Sora's baby, which is really beautiful, and I love it. And I'm so glad that they're here. We've got Moon hosting with us very soon and singing with us soon. So Moon, we can't wait to be back in the space with you again. Let's see where I was. I think Fred, Hoda in British Columbia. Did I say Doug? And I did say Storm in Mass. Maxine and John coming in from Cape Cod. Bronwyn in Victoria. Sarah in Connecticut. Jenny in Suffolk, UK. Carol in Connecticut. Jane in Texas. Kat in Vermont. Mommy in New Jersey. Karen, thanks for being with us today. I think that's Karen in Iowa. Curly Tops in Vermont. Elizabeth in California. Martha in Oregon. And Tom may be new to us today, coming in from, I can't actually see what it says on your screen. Maybe that's Charleston, South Carolina. Maybe that's Chattanooga. I think that's Chattanooga, Tennessee. Thank you so much to everybody again for being here. Let's wave goodbye to everybody out there on the live stream. Thank you, live stream, so much. And we'll all be right here tomorrow, ready to sing with you again on tomorrow's Daily Antidote song.